that's another thing that that is also important, is the turnaround, right? Is to be able to get your project or to get, you know, some sort of assignment done like pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And
How do you feel about your assignment, or how do you feel about turnaround then?
Yeah, turnarounds are pretty good. Like for me, it's like, you know, I usually try to, you know, like knock it out like as quickly as possible. Like whatever time that I have to work on it, then because one thing is for certain is that like a lot of people like say that like, oh yeah, you know, there's this whole stereotype of like, you know, like, oh shoot, it's like, you know, like I probably won't see my project for another 3 months or something like that, or like, you know, like a couple months or something like that, you know, after the shoot, right? But for me, it's like that's the one thing that I really want to try to like avoid, because, you know, as much as like we were motivated to do this project at the time, like we're still on that high a little bit, right? But at the same time, it's like we don't want it to kind of die out, right? And so
the momentum, the energy.
So for me, it's like, you know, it's important to also create a lot of drafts, you know. So and that's actually really cool. So it's like, let's say like if you know, took part in like a music video, okay, and after it's like you filmed it, and after it's like you're trying to piece all together, like, you know, all the different elements to the project and everything like that, and then instead of like working all like, you know, like on it like from beginning to end, what you do, or what I do, is I create like drafts, like little rough drafts, just so that like I can give the client, or like, you know, whoever you know, project manager that I'm working with, like what it looks like what it physically looks like. You know, this is what the project is going to look like, and this is like how the editing process is going to be like. And then from there, like we do a back and forth and get feedback.
Can you elaborate on what that what that looks like, the drafts?
Yeah, so the drafts is basically like kind of like a rough outline, or like a rough edit of like what the project is going to look like in the final stages.
You mean in like in just like a segment? You choose a segment and you're working on that?
No, just like actually like, so if you have like, let's say like a music video or something like that, right? Like you can just work like maybe like half of like the music video, right? You work with like half of the music video, and then from there, like you just kind of give them like a look and be like, hey, this is what it's going to look like, kind of thing, right? And then after, like from there, it's like, because one thing is for certain is that like with any kind of project, like people would like the people that, you know, that you're working with, like wants to see the actual product, right, before it gets out.
Right.
Regardless, okay, that's just the way that it is. And so like it's, to me, like I feel like it's important to actually put out some sort of like, you know, like a rough draft that's, you know, like nicely edited, but not, you know, not smooth at all, or whatever it is, right? But just to give them an idea that like this is like the way that the editing process is heading. And so like from there on, you get the feedback from, you know, from the people that you work with, and then from there, like you actually construct a way better, you know, video towards the end, you know. Because what happens is like when you're so embedded in like, you know, editing a project, it's like it's only you, right? It's only you that's trying to get the product out.
And then you might overdo it. You might actually overwork it.
Right. And then so in a lot of ways, it's like, you know, having to stop and then trying to like get feedback from like, let's say like the people that you're working with is always a really good refresher. And they always appreciate it, because it's like they get to see it. And then from there, like, because they have sort of like a different like intent, or like, you know, like look that they want to have as well, right? So like you incorporate that as well, like into your mix. Once you incorporate that into the mix, then it makes that much of a better product, because like they're super happy with it. And as much as like maybe some of the shots that, you know, that they chose that I kind of disagree with, it's okay, because it's like if they're happy with it,
right,
then you find ways of making it work on your end to, you know, fit those pieces of the puzzle, and then eventually, boom, it's like, you know, then you got a product that like they're both, you know, both ends are happy, kind of thing, right? Because for me, it's like as much as like I want to try to like just, you know, do it like this, it's like you're kind of already cutting off like so much more resources that could definitely help in the process of, you know, building a better video.
I'm sure this is going to help some of the viewers out there, because I'm wondering as well. Once you get something that you feel like, oh man, I got to show this to them, show it to them.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Even if you get the feedback of like, I don't really like this look or whatever, that's fine. That's okay, you know, because it's like that's where like you can actually start to really like, you know, tap into like, okay, so
break it down.
where did they want to go with this, and like where do you want to go with this as well, right? And then of course you set your own boundaries and you set like, you know, your own limits on like, okay, so this is how we filmed it and everything like that, and this is like the material that we have. They're gonna, you know, sometimes like, you know, clients and say like, oh, can we see like other, you know, like other angles or other, you know, other footages and stuff, other cuts and stuff like that, and you're like, yeah, sure. And so like in a lot of ways, it's like, you know, the editing process has to have some sort of like relationship or intervention with whoever you're working with. Once you do that, then they feel a lot more connected with the work, and they feel a lot more like invested in the work as well, right? Because like they did what they could, and then we shot what we could, right? But at the same time, like we also want to like portray ourselves like the best, you know, in the footage.
Exactly.
And how we caught that footage, right? So that's great because like, you know, we tend to like not see it in each other's, you know, visions, right? Because it's like, you know, even as a dancer, it's like even though like you could film somebody like doing like this incredible, you know, dance moves, right? Like it looks incredible on footage, but then like to the dancer, they're like, oh my God, I did so much mistakes on here. We can't tell. Right? Sometimes we can't just tell like what's going on, and so like even though we think that's beautiful, it's like the dancer itself is like critiquing herself or whoever that was on there, saying that, oh my God, like that was like not even the right part of the choreo that I did, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the most important thing, is to see it from a different perspective as well, and that can actually improve a lot more, because it's not necessarily just like the style like you put together, but it's also that like, you know, the viewers themselves also are very diverse, you know?
Right,
Like
right.
they're looking for different things like in the video. It's like they're looking for, you know, like, oh, how you shot it, or like, oh, I wonder what lens they shot it with, or like, you know, or they're looking at like the quality of the dance, or like the, you know, the music video, or like the actual music that's playing on there, the singing, right? So like one video reaches out to like a whole diversity of people that we all sort of kind of have to like consider like when we do the editing process, right?